Good morning. Good morning. We made it to another Friday. I hope you've had a good week. Right here in the area where the office is was a storm. A storm had come through last night, and the neighborhood right over here next to the office had a lot of damage, trees down. I checked on a couple of the friends that I have that live there, and they're okay, but there's a lot of cleanup and repair work going on over in the Celanese area today. So unless you have to be in that area, I would avoid going through there. Alright, so we made it to Friday, and it is May the 2nd. We made it to May. We made it to when things are starting to change, that life is starting to spring forth, that all of this new life we're seeing in plants and trees and flowers and everything's in bloom, and we've had this long dormant season of winter, of going inward, of turning in to reflect and to restore and to recharge, and now it's time for us to spring forth. And May is the perfect month to bring about that awareness of mental health. And if you followed any of my videos and watched anything that or read anything that I posted, watched any of the videos, you know that I am a big proponent of working on mental health. And while I would like to see more men and male clients, that usually is not the case. Most of the time I see more women and female clients. So I wanted to do this video addressing that thought, that topic about men and mental health, and actually breaking free from some of that stubborn silence that we as men hold. So men, if you're watching, good for you. Ladies, if you're watching, you can stick around because it may help you learn more about us men and our mental states and our mental health, and hopefully you'll share it with someone in your life that you love and care about. But as I said, this month is mental health awareness, and awareness is good, but action is better, right? So it's time to face this hard truth that too many men remain stubbornly silent and choose to suffer in that silence. There's a war, and it's being fought in the minds of men. It's invisible, often it's ignored, and way too often it's fought alone. Whether it's the pressure to have this stoic mentality, to be the stoic provider, the tough leader, the alpha male who never shows weakness, right? We are conditioned as men to keep that struggle hidden, conditioned by our surroundings, conditioned by society, conditioned by family. We have been conditioned, we have been programmed, we have been placed in that negative trance. And the thing is this issue of mental health is not always about severe trauma or complete breakdowns or full-blown depression. For a lot of men, it's smaller struggles that often get ignored. It's those quiet moments of self-doubt, of anxiety, of burnout, of isolation, of stress. And these things are not that obvious a lot of times, but they can be just as damaging. They are silent battles that just continue to pile up, and without this proper attention, they can wreck a man's life just as much as those more obvious mental health issues. So what do we do? What do we do about it, men? How do we break that silence? Well, first thing is start by looking at some of the myths, the false beliefs that we're holding, and actually deconstructing that stigma. I mean, demolition can be fun, right? I mean, who doesn't want to take a sledgehammer to a wall in a house that they haven't been able to stand for so long, right? So let's deconstruct, let's demolition some of these old stigmas and these outdated thoughts and ideas, and actually begin encouraging men to get the help that they deserve, whether it's with a therapist, whether it's with a mentor, whether it's with a coach, or simply someone that they can trust to help them get their bearings back on track. So this video is a call to the men out there. It's okay to need help. It's okay to not have it all together. You don't have to be broken or on the edge of a breakdown to seek out help or support. In fact, reaching out for help before it gets to that point is a very smart move. So we got all these myths out there about how we're supposed to be as men. That strong, silent type, right? That's one of the myths that we're supposed to be. Real men don't show weakness. Man up. Don't be a wimp. Big boys don't cry. We've heard all of those cliches and catchphrases over the years. And this myth has been drilled into our minds for generations. It's one of the biggest reasons that men struggle with their mental health and issues that they're dealing with silently. I mean, if you've been raised with that idea that you have to carry this weight of the world on your shoulders and never let anybody see you sweat, and always be the one that has to have it all figured out all the time, it's no wonder that seeking help feels like a failure. But the truth is being strong does not mean being silent. True strength is about wisdom. It's about resilience. And resilience does not come from bottling everything up until it finally explodes. True strength is about knowing when you need support and having the courage to actually take action and reach out for it. The most powerful men I know, the ones with true strength, with character, with grit, they're the ones that aren't afraid to admit when they need help. Whether it's a business mentor, a trusted friend, a counselor, these men understand the value of supporting their mental health, just like they would their physical health. We've created this stigma among men surrounding asking for help. In so many circles, reaching out for this help is seen as a weakness, or worse, a failure. You know, society has conditioned us men to believe that needing help is a sign of incompetence or an inability to handle real life, whatever real life is, right? Like this life we're living isn't real. So, the thing is, this couldn't be any further from the truth. Not seeking help is the real weakness. Ignoring the signs that something's not right, whether it's persistent stress or lack of energy or feeling disconnected or increased irritability, it's a surefire way to let small problems turn into bigger ones. And this stigma around men and mental health keep a lot of men trapped in these unhealthy cycles. It prevents them from reaching out for help at the very time they need it the most. And it often means that when they do finally ask for help, it's after the situation has escalated to a point of crisis. Here's the thing. You don't need to wait for a breakdown to seek out help. Mental health support is not reserved for the worst case scenario. It's for everyone. Whether you're facing anxiety over work pressures or feeling down about life, or you just need some guidance on how to better manage your stress. Seeking counsel isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. These smaller struggles that we face a lot of times. Most of the time, mental health problems don't look like what you see on TV or movies. They don't always come with that dramatic breakdown outburst. They're not episodes of full-on depression. For a lot of men, this struggle is quiet, it's internal, and it shows up in small daily struggles. That feeling of burnout that just never seems to go away no matter how much you sleep or how much rest you get. Or maybe it's an overwhelming sense of stress that starts to interfere with your workload or with relationships that you have. Or sometimes it shows up as that gnawing sense of doubt that you're heading in the right direction but not being sure who to turn to for reassurance. Or maybe it's feeling disconnected even though you're surrounded by people. Just feeling alone even though there's people all around you. These aren't the kind of mental health issues that scream for attention, but if we leave them unchecked, they can pile up. They can snowball over and over into larger problems. So a lot of men are fighting these small issues, but these are powerful little demons on their own. And thinking that because their issue isn't severe, it hasn't reached breakdown level, it hasn't reached full-blown depression, that they're not worth addressing. But here's the truth. These small problems, they don't stay small forever. This silent struggle that men face, it needs attention. And we need to give it attention before it turns into something a lot more dangerous. Just because you don't have a mental breakdown doesn't mean your mental health isn't important. Sometimes you just need somebody to listen, to validate your feelings, to help guide you in the right direction. It's not just about those big issues. Mental health and well-being isn't only about major trauma or breakdowns. It's about maintaining balance and making sure that you are functioning at the best mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. It's about staying mentally sharp, emotionally resilient, and spiritually grounded. And that's another video in and of itself, but most pastors I know are struggling silently. And I'm planning on doing a video specifically for pastors and ministry leaders about this issue. But right now we're talking to all men in general. So let's talk about some of the smaller issues that these men face, that you and I face, and how we can address them before they turn into bigger problems. Well, we deal with stress and burnout a lot as men because of the things that we have to deal with on a daily basis. And it's easy to fall into that trap of constantly pushing ourselves to achieve more, to go bigger, to hustle, to grind. We're taught that we just have to work harder, to be more, to do more. But the result of this grind mentality, this hustle culture that we've developed, leads to stress and burnout. Two things that drain you mentally and physically and spiritually. We, as men, feel that pressure to always perform at our highest level. And that leads to neglect when it comes to self-care or downtime. And that leads to exhaustion, frustration, and resentment. So if you're feeling worn out, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that your mind and body are telling you, hey, slow down. Get some help in managing this stress. Whether it's through mindfulness, breathing techniques, therapy, counseling, or just simply learning to set better boundaries. Then anxiety. For a lot of men, anxiety is not this dramatic panic attack. For some it can be, I understand that, and I've worked with several that have felt those feelings. But for a lot of men, and a lot of times, this anxiety is not at that level. It's a low-level hum of tension that's always present. It's there in the background. It's that tightness that you feel in your chest whenever you think about work. It's the relationships you have or the future. That feeling of tightness when you're thinking about any of those things. It's that pressure that you feel to keep everything under control. And anxiety can be one of those sneaky little monsters. And it's persistent. And it builds up over time until it starts to rob you of your very peace of mind. The best way to address this is through tools like mindfulness breathing exercises, grounding techniques, tapping techniques that I teach my clients, multi-channel eye movement integration. And these are tools and techniques and tips that will help you actually challenge those anxious thoughts, break those patterns, those ruminating thoughts. Another issue that creeps in for a lot of men are facing moments of self-doubt. It's that silent struggle that many men deal with when we're facing that self-doubt. It's that little voice that just tells us we're not good enough, we don't deserve success, or that this is just destined to fail. It's a silent killer of confidence. And while it's normal to have feelings of doubt from time to time, this persistent self-doubt is what tends to hold us back. And it keeps us from reaching that full potential. Getting confirmation and counsel from someone that you trust can make all the difference in the world in actually boosting your confidence and getting you back on track or reassuring you that you are on the right track. And another one that we tend to do as men is isolate. We are often isolating ourselves because of our pride, because of our schedules, because of our personal struggles, and we convince ourselves that we don't need anyone, that we should be able to handle everything ourselves. But isolation is toxic. It keeps you disconnected from others and from the support that could actually help you. So connecting with others, connecting with a group of like-minded individuals, or simply confiding in a trusted friend or mentor or counselor, that can be a huge step toward breaking out of this feeling of isolation. This connection is vital for your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual well-being. Just think about it this way. If you've got a fire burning hot, the coals are glowing red, and you take one of those coals from that fire out and you set it aside away from everything else, it doesn't take but just a few minutes and that coal goes out. It loses its heat, it loses its fire, it loses its glow. But then you take that coal and you put it back over in the fire, and it reignites, it regains its heat, it regains its glow. So isolation is something that we need to work to avoid. So what do men actually need to hear? Well, I know is this Mental Health Awareness Month that these mantras are out there. They're going to be posted over and over again as cliche statements. But I want us to really stop and think about these phrases. What we need to hear as men. One, we need to understand that it's okay to face these issues. We don't have to have it all together. We don't have to man up or pretend like everything's fine when it's not. We're human, and it's okay to admit when you need help. Another thing that men need to hear is you don't have to wait for a breakdown to get help. You don't have to wait until you're on that brink of collapse to reach out for support. Whether you need a sounding board or some advice or just something to help you think through things. Getting help early can actually prevent those small issues from snowballing into massive problems. And then asking for help is actually strength. Strength is not about pretending you're invincible. It's about being honest with yourself and being honest with others about what you're facing, those things you're dealing with, and being brave enough to actually take some action to change it. It's time to break the silence. If you're a man that's struggling, whether it's big or small, it's time to break that silence. The myths and the stigma surrounding mental health in men keep us trapped in these cycles of stress and anxiety, of isolation, of burnout. But the truth is, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. This month and every month, let's make it okay for men to actually speak up, to reach out, to get the help they need, whether it's for something big or small. Mental health is about taking care of yourself. It's about getting the support when you need it. It's time to stop suffering in silence. It's time to break that trance. So where do we go from here? Well, I've got a free guide. It's 7 lies to keeping you trapped and how to break them today. If you're interested and you want to get a copy of that guide, just leave me a comment. Let me know in the comments if you want a copy of that. I'll be happy to send it to you. Or if you want to schedule a consult with me, message me and we can work that day and time out that works best for you. If you do schedule it through my online scheduling app, it will charge you $25, but if you talk to me personally and we schedule that, then there's no charge for the consultation. I had a lot of people scheduling consults online and then never showing up, and booking, that calendar time where I couldn't see anybody else and then not showing up. So I set it up so that if you schedule it online, it'll charge you $25. That'll come off of any session or package that you choose if you go forward. I've also got a YouTube channel, the UnHypnotist. You can go there, subscribe to it. There's tons of videos just like this one. This is the Facebook Live version. It'll be on here for 30 days and then it disappears. Facebook starts deleting everything after 30 days on these live videos. So it'll also be over on the YouTube channel and you can find it there. I hope you found this video helpful, and share it with somebody that may need to hear this message today. All right, it's Friday, it's sunny, it's going to be a nice weekend. Looks like we may have some rain tomorrow, so plan your activities accordingly. Do some indoor activities, but if you get a chance and there's a break in the weather, get outside into nature and do some recharging there. All right, have a great weekend. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.